Starfall.
Hey guys, welcome back to Starfall Sabers. My name is Nick, and I am excited to show off this Corran horn inspired saber. And this is going to be my personal saber for a while. I actually haven't had a personal saber in a long time. And I build hundreds of sabers a year. And I love building. I actually don't like collecting sabers. I don't want a big collection of personal sabers, but I do feel that it is probably time that I do have a personal saber. I did have 3 personal sabers at one point, and then I just needed to sell them to pay bills, and so maybe I don't want to get too attached to a personal saber and have to sell it. But nowadays I build, I run Starfall Sabers and fulfill orders full time. This is how I make my living, and so I have plenty of work. I'm thankful for that, and so I'm okay with building myself a personal saber. And even if I do need to sell it down the road, I'm okay with that too, because I can always build another one. But every once in a while, I will have an idea in my mind, or just I have some found parts that are laying around the shop that I think, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to try to use this for my own build at one point. I've been a fan of the Corran horn saber. I know Rob from Genesis Custom Sabers, his saber's fantastic. It's kind of his imagining of one. And then Solo's Hold has a real accurate one based on reference pics of the speeder bike. Corran horn in the book I, Jedi, he builds his saber from a junked speeder bike handle. And so I appreciate the accuracy of Solo's Hold, but as a designer myself, and I like creating things that don't exist anywhere except what I created. And so this is a one of one, my imagining of what the Corran horn saber would look like. Not every speeder bike has to be what we've seen in the films. So my imagining is this is what this speeder bike handle looked like that Corran horn would have created. I'm going to explain some of the aesthetics and design choices on it. I also want to thank the Facebook group. It's a very new group, Sons of Corellia, because it's basically a Facebook group dedicated to Corran horn inspired sabers. And so I recently joined that group, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna build one. So I did build this yesterday. I stayed up late building it after I had completed what I needed to do for my Etsy orders. So I didn't take time away from anything that's out there. I'm on schedule to finish orders per schedule. And then as the Starkiller run, I did delay that to end of May, and that will be on track. So rest assured, anyone who's watching this, I didn't take time away from your build to do this. I am going to get this saber installed. Probably going to have my buddy Justin Marshall from Saber Bay do the install on this. But kind of without further ado, let me take you through some of the aesthetics on this saber. So imagine this as a speeder bike handle, and this is where it would connect into the steering assembly. So I wanted this section to look like it mechanically might be able to, you know, go in and lock into place, something like that. So I wanted to give it some dimension. These are just some found parts that I had around the shop. This is a vintage, something from a camera flash, I don't know. This is as well, and I spun it on my lathe to give it this nice brass patina look. Rear end of a Graflex upper shell replica, not vintage. Vintage screw that I had from just camera parts laying around. This is a lamp part, like a nickel-plated brass piece. So I sanded it to get that brass patina finish on it. Now this is Nathan from Wild Space Outpost had sent me some just random parts that he had and said, hey, one day I'm sure you'll make something with it. So he sent me some stuff. So this was a piece that came from a big box of just random junk that he sent me. I think it might be like a bicycle clamp of some sort, which I thought was kind of fitting for the speeder bike. And what I liked about it is it looks like this would be where you would have put the like the brake grip, you know, that action, the lever action here. So, you know, in my imagination, Corran Horn would have, you know, disassembled that that piece, and it makes for a real comfortable kind of handguard stop. But it looks believable to me anyway that that's where that the brake assembly would go right here, or, you know, shifting, or however speeders work, however you want to imagine that. It also has these holes in here, which are nice. Originally I was going to do a 2-button setup, but I think I'm going to go with CFX for this, because now that it has the 1-button hack. And so there's those SIG illuminated switches. I'm going to drill that out so that one's going to go there. So it'll look really cool. I also like the fact that, you know, if this was a grip and you had the brake attachment here, it just seems natural that there would be buttons that you would press here when operating the speeder. But now they've been adapted to operate the Saber. In the book, his Saber has like a blade length adjustment. So this spins. And so I thought this would be kind of cool, you know, in my head canon that, you know, he presses it once, then adjusts the length up or down, presses it again, and it locks it in place. Again, this will be the power. And what I'm gonna have done is I'm gonna drill a hole here to go back into the hilt, and then get some braided flexible tubing for the wires of the back of the switch to thread back in. And I think that will look really cool and really mechanical and believable for what I'm trying to do with this. Also, my style of building Sabers is super unconventional. It's not CNC, it's handmade. I do have 2 lathes and a mill, a Dremel, drills, and all those metalworking tools. I personally do not like pristine looking Sabers. I have built them and they're nice and like shiny, but for my personal stuff, I want it to look original trilogy, like the way the guiding principle that George Lucas gave the prop department was a lived-in, used universe. At one point in my Instagram, I linked a video I found on YouTube, where the prop makers were talking about that they were making these shiny props, and George came in and said, no, it needs to be like a used universe. Like, it needs to look like it's been through some life and some action, and hasn't been well maintained. Now, I know George kind of went back on that in the prequel trilogy. Those Sabers are just super shiny and flawless. They're cool, but they look just like high-end polished toys. And I know that some people love that. Me personally, that doesn't do it for me. This has been sitting, you know, I finished it late last night. I just have not been able to put it down because I look at it, it catches my eye, and I'm like, whoa, this tells a story. I did weather some of these. I tried to do it realistically, like the high points of you know, through riding the bike or just dropping the Saber or whatever while he was working on it. Because he was kind of like a survivalist when he built this. It was, you know, he's not trying to make some pristine Saber. He's just working with what he has. So I found this knurled piece tube, and I milled it down here, put some grooves in it, and then I painted and then weathered this so that it, again, just has that nice handled look. This is just a piece of aluminum that I cut in here, weathered up. And then, so I wanted the pommel to have, because I've seen some pictures of speeder bikes where it has like a control up here too. So you have like the brake and then like some sort of control assembly here. I wanted to look like it was mechanical and had been taken off. And so I wanted it like a weathered kind of mechanical, dimensional, or just have some dimension, some depth and that's obviously where it's going to be vented. So this pommel will come off. You can see it looks really cool. And what I want for this Saber, because it also disconnects here, so I'll show you. I'm gonna see, I was gonna make a chassis for it, like a nice brass handmade chassis, but I don't have the time to commit to that, especially with how many orders. So I'm gonna look and see what Goth chassis Goth has available for like a 3D printed brass. So it comes apart here as well for like a full reveal. So that'll come all the way out, and you see you have like a nice amount of length for a full, I want a full brass chassis with a crystal chamber and everything. Not going to be dueling with this. It'll be just a belt dangler or a shelf queen. But yeah, this is my version of the Corran horn Saber. Once it's installed, I will do a video on that. But just want to thank you guys for watching. I hope everyone's safe. As always, feel free to give me a follow on my Instagram at Starfall_Sabers. And there is going to be plenty of mystery saber reveals, plenty of commissions that I'm fulfilling. So I just want to thank everyone for the support. It really means a lot. May the force be with you, and we'll see you next time.